Hi everyone, welcome to episode 6 of series 2, season 2 of the Yarnivore podcast. I am trying to figure out the lighting. It's overcast today. I'm gonna have to get used to this Pacific Northwest weather. Actually, I don't have to get used to it. I'm just gonna have to figure out how to work with it for the podcast purposes. Right now, I'm very bright, but the rest of me is not. And that is what you get. I am Sadie Ruin. I will also be the host of your show. I'm Blue Ruin on Ravelry, Sadie Ruin on Twitter, Instagram. I think that's everywhere. I think. Don't quote me. I had to wet my bangs down or else I would have had like a Don King straight up in the air kind of deal going on, and that was just not going to happen. And I guess before I get too into myself and get bra straps and everything, aren't you just the luckiest people? People are the luckiest people. I am wearing my Meet Me in Montauk to keep warm today. Here it is in all of its glory. It is not showing up this lovely panel. Where is the lovely panel? There's the lovely panel. I don't know if I can get the lovely panel to show up, but there is a lovely panel. You can kind of see it. It's got some twisted, stitchy, cabley goodness in it. This is by Awilda, and you can purchase it. There have been errata. I believe there may be more errata coming out, maybe not. And there is the lovely, lovely edging. There we go. And it's keeping me warm today because it matches my outfit. And apparently I felt the need to match my outfit, so I'm keeping warm with the Meet Me in Montauk. Which also reminds me of Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, which is possibly one of my favorite movies in the universe. I think all of the weird girls in the world kind of identify with Clem. It's just my theory. I identify with Clem, hence the Blue Ruin as my Rav name. Alrighty, now that we've had that little segue, I guess we should get into knitting. I have been knitting. I've been trying to knit more. But the weekend was kind of a schlump for knitting because we went to Coheed and Cambria in Seattle on Friday. And normally when we go to Seattle, I'll take socks or something to knit on in the car, on the ferry, etc., etc. But I wasn't about to do that for the show. I could have left it in the car, but I was really amped up and I just wanted to listen to the new album, which I have the deluxe edition coming to me, but I have the download, like the deluxe edition came with the digital download, so I'd been listening to that all day and I was not about to put it away. I wanted to keep listening to it until the show because that's who I am. And yeah, it was a great show. It was a great show. FYI, the Fitbit does not track moshing. I have a Fitbit. It said I had 4,000 steps, and I'd forgotten to put it on during the day, so, well, I have the little guy, because I don't want to wear the wrist one, because when I'm dying, it's going to get blasted with heat and stuff. So, I have the little one, and I put it in my pocket, which I often do, and I only got 4,000 steps at the concert, and I was like, there is no way. Okay, I moshed for at least half of the set. And then I was sweaty and tired and I just kind of bopped around. Because I am no longer as young as I once was and cannot mosh for an entire set. There used to be days, like back in the day, I would have been thick in the pit and people would have been beating me up. Not literally, but you know, you get a few elbows in. I've been hit in the face with my shoe. That happened at Bad Religion. When I lost my shoe, someone hit me with it, and I was like, hey, it's my shoe, and I got to put it back on, and I was really happy. I've had a beer poured on me by accident, because no one in Canada pours a beer. Those are expensive. That was like an $8 beer. No one's pouring a beer on you on purpose. I think it was just the way the mosh pit was at the time, and it was someone on the edge, and they lost hold of their drink, and I ended up covering beer. I've been in some weird mosh pits in my life. And so, I mean, the fact that I can't last one anymore is kind of sad. I think I may need to like get a health regime just so I can maintain my moshing status, because this is sad. It was my husband's first mosh pit. It was his first show in like 10 years. He doesn't have the experience I do when it comes to going to shows, so that was interesting for him. I hope he enjoyed it. I really don't care. Like, I love my husband, but he doesn't like people, and he doesn't like that kind of stuff, so he just has to suck it up and do it for me because I love it so much. And I suck it up and do stuff for him. So, it equalizes out, but at the same time it was kind of funny because it was his first mosh pit, and he ended up on the edge of the pit. So he didn't actually mosh or get involved in the pit. Hold on. Go away, little pop-up. So, yeah. But needless to say, no knitting was done. And then Saturday there was a lot of recovery time. And there's Frank. Say hi, Frank. Frank says, hi, guys. My name's Frank. I'm the baby. So, recovery time on Saturday. Slept in a little bit. And yeah. So I do have a FO. I do have a faux for this week. I actually have one. I have knitting I have done. Apparently I go somewhat semi-British. This is a basically just 1x1 rib brioche hat. It's going to be for my nephew. And the decreases aren't the best decreases in the world. They don't look too shabby on this, but I just I divided it by 4 because I did multiples of 4. I divided it by 4, and I did the where you decrease 2 stitches and it slants right, or maybe it's the left one. I get those confused if I'm not looking at a pattern. So I slipped 1 stitch, I knit 2 together, and I passed the slip stitch over the first one, or over the knit 2 together, to get the decreases. So there's a little close-up. It does this like line thing and it slopes. So there's 4 of those. It is knit out of the dark blue. I have no idea what that is because it was given to me for making the husband's quilt. Not quilt, the big blanket I sent off with him when he went over to Diego. And the stripy stuff is, I believe, 3 little crows. And it has something to do with brownies and Kool-Aid. So that's the inside. It's pretty much fully reversible actually, and you can see there's the decreases on the inside, so it looks a little less clean on the inside. You got the little brush. So it's pretty much fully reversible. This is the one side. This is the opposing side. So it's like having 2 hats in one. It should fit my nephew. It fits me. I'm not going to put it on my head right now, but it fits me tightly, and I look kind of funny. Okay, I will put it on. But then my hair is going to be horrible. So you can put it on, and if it's too big for his head, he can roll it up a little bit. Boop. Wear it like that. Wear it all the way down and be like Daredevil. Now I'm going to have bad hair. It's gonna flume. There's Beetle. Beetle is checking everything out. Hi, Beetlebug. Hey, Bug. Like, screw you, human being. You're not giving me food. So that's my FO. That means I have 3 hats ready to go for Christmas. I need 1 more. Alrighty. So that was my FO. And I have 2 works in progress. 2 works in progress. I have a story to go with the sock. Okay, this is the, and I had to actually bring it up here. Don't go away. I know I hit the button. That's my own damn fault. This is the Garden Sprinkle Sock by Little Skein and the Big Wool. It's a free pattern. Let's see if it doesn't blast out. No, it's gonna blast out. I'm not going to adjust my monitor. So you'll see it in the sock that I'm knitting anyway. But it's called Garden Sprinkles. If you like the Honey Badger or the Show Off Stranded, stuff like that. Hi, Bug. I hear you approacheth. If you like stuff like that, this is a really good sock pattern, and it's free. And there's going to be crinkling because Beetle's down there. She'll probably start meowing at me any minute. I am knitting this on US 1, I believe. US 1? Yes, US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. They are my Chiagus. So the stranded is what's making these little flecks pop up. It's basically you do slip stitches for 2 rows and then you knit 4 rows of just stockinette and then you do this little slip stitch pattern again. There's the other side. I really like it because it's very simple, but it gives you just a little bit of interest in the sock, like a visual interest. As you may have recalled, I was trying to knit the charades out of this. I got about 1.5 inches past the ribbing, so I'd gotten to about there. And it's a 2-row repeat, and I was not into the yarn over, slip, whatever, every second stitch. It was like, okay, I wanted an easy pattern, but this one is downright tedious and boring. Now, I'm sure it's just the way I feel right now, because I don't have the mental acuity to want to knit something that requires me to do something every second stitch, to not get something that is really banging. Like, okay, if I picked up a Cookie A sock and started it and it was like, yeah, because those are really involved, that would be one thing, because you do those in semi-solids and you get like the visual oomph. I was not getting visual oomph. It was probably a pattern yarn choice on my part. They've been done in variegates and they've been done in semi-solids, the charade sock. There's nothing against the charade sock. I will probably knit one later on in my life, but not right now, because that 2-row repeat was just bugging the crap out of me. And again, probably me. So I frogged that down to the ribbing because I was not willing to give up the ribbing. Here's the thing. I don't like knitting ribbing. I am not the first knitter to ever admit this. I am probably the only knitter who is going to admit it loudly and proudly. I don't like it. It's probably the longest part of the sock. I could knit a sock in the time it takes me to get the ribbing done. So I ripped back to the ribbing, and I knew it was a 64 stitch repeat, so I went through Ravelry and I found the Garden Sprinkles, which I thought, hey, this looks easy, it looks visually interesting to me, and it's got the same stitch count. It's got a 64 stitch cuff. So I ripped back to the ribbing and I started from there, because I was like, I'm not giving up this ribbing. Even though it's a 2x2, I don't usually wear 2x2 ribbing because I don't find it to be tight enough for me. But whatever. I wasn't about to give up the ribbing. I'll just make sure I do 2x2 on the next one and it'll all work out. And it looks gorgeous. In this colorway, the sprinkles just seem to work out perfectly to give me these little blips that I'm really enjoying. It kind of breaks up the spiral. I'm loving it. This is Leading Man Fiber Arts in the Showcase base. I did look it up, actually. I left the thing in the living room, but I do have the tag. And I looked at the tag, and it's a Showcase base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon. It's very smishy and very lovely, and this is the Fright Night colorway, which is very appropriate for, okay, focus. You can see the beautiful colors. It's a very appropriate colorway for Halloween. Probably be knitting it on Halloween, which I will be sitting alone in my house for because hubby has duty, and that sucks. Probably dress up and do the time warp by myself while watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because that is who I am. So, this is the progress I have on it. I'm about, I want to say I want 2 more inches before I start the heel flap. Again, if you're looking for a very easy pattern that is lovely and free, the Garden Sprinkles by Little Skein in the Big Wool, I highly recommend it. I really do. It's, what's the repeat on this? I think it's like 12 rows. Yeah, it's a 12-row repeat, and 8 of them are stockinette. So, easy to memorize, simple to go. I'm enjoying it. It looks like this cuff also is a K2P2 rib, so I picked that without even thinking about it. Way to go, team! Now, the next thing I have on my needles. See, I should have worn like a shawl closure. Should have dug out my Tix trinkets to lock up my shawl on me, but whatever. I'm fine with it. In my 2nd Avenue swag bag, you know this is going to be a hat, and it's going to be a Christmas hat. I started the hat for Zibby, who is my youngest niece, which means this is my last hat. My last brioche hat. Then it can brioche for me for the Yarnivore Brioche Long. See, I've done a hat and a bit. See, I'll have 2 hats before this is done. I am using some gray that was gifted to me again for the husband's thing. My mother-in-law and my friend Jack both gave me these huge bags of leftovers and sock leftovers. So I used a bunch of them, but I still have a bunch of them, and quite frankly, you don't need a lot to do a vintage prim, so I knew that would work. And then I have my, it's going to show up green. Actually, no, that's pretty close. It's a little more yellow than that. This is Koigu KPM in the dye colorway of 1230, which is 100% merino, 50 grams, 175 yards. I'll probably still have a bit left over. I think it takes 39 grams to do the main color of this hat. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. See, it's reading green. There's nothing I can do about that because it's next to my hair, so it's going to pop green. And so I started the ribbing. I am doing the yellow as the main color and the gray as the contrast color. You do this for 2 inches. Again, I just started it. I just started it. And I am magic looping on... These needles aren't marked, so I can't tell you. I think it's a 3.25. Don't quote me. I believe these are a 3.25 millimeter needle. The only change I did to this hat, and it was literally my own folly, but it works out anyway. This is my end right here, right? So I did the twisted cast on It Calls For, and I did 100 stitches instead of 108 because my niece is tiny. Like, she's what, 8? I want to say 8. Yes, she's 8. Because it goes 10, 9, 8, 7. And so she's 8. She is wee. My sister-in-law is not a large person. She's like 5 feet tall and about as big as a minute, as we've discussed previously, but she has these massive calves like me. Because she does yoga and she walks a lot, and she knows she has big calves. In fact, we go shopping for big calved shoes together. Big calf boots. She's like, I need you to come with me, because we had to go to the large lady store to find big calf boots. And she's like, they won't believe me. So she's like, they'll believe you. I'm like, yes, because I have to shop at those places. That's the only places I can find clothes. We'll go get you some shoes at the places I shop. She has gotten better. I think Fluvogs work for her if they're lace-ups. So now she wears expensive shoes. Either way, she is wee. My brother is the same height as me. Maybe a little bit shorter. We divulge on who is taller because I'm 5'6", and I think he's 5'6", but he says 5'7" because he wears tall shoes, or he wears shoes that have a thicker heel. It all depends on who's standing taller and who's trying to win, but we're basically the same height. So he is also not a super tall man. So their children are wee. They are wee, like Thumbelina. They're perfect, and they're wonderful, and I love them. They're just really tiny. I can throw them around. It's like a bag of potatoes. Anywho, because I had this short little nubbin here, and I had done my cast on, and I got to 100, which is divisible in the appropriate way, I was like, I'm just going to drop these last 8. I'm just not going to do them, because they're not part of the brioche portion. They'll be part of the back. I can work with this. And 8 stitches is not going to make a big difference because she's tiny. She has a big head. Like, she has a normal sized head. She's a perfectly smaller human being. She's going to be a dainty little woman. A dainty little woman with fire. Because she is stubborn. Both her parents are stubborn, so it makes sense. Heaven help us if I reproduce, because we're, like, seriously, I don't think the world can handle another one of me with my husband's influence. That's going to be the most stubborn thing ever birthed into the planet. Mules will look at that child and go, yeah, that's stubborn. Anywho, so I dropped the 8 stitches. It's not going to be a big deal. I put them at the back when I divided for my magic loop. So I've got the front portion, which is going to have the brioche, and then the back, which has the garter, I believe. Don't trust me here. So I've started it again. I'm going to be alone on Halloween Day, so I'll probably get a lot of knitting done, because that is who I am. Sit around and watch Halloween movies and Hocus Pocus and, you know, rock it out. Actually, we watched Hocus Pocus, and hubby had never seen it, and I was like, oh, Thackeray Binks! He's like, I don't get it. I'm like, if you were an awkward girl in the 90s, everyone had a crush on Thackeray Binks. Not Max. We didn't want Max. Screw Max. Thackeray Binks, who is now McGee on NCIS. And every time I, like, think of that, it just... McGee. Again, hot to all the awkward, socially awkward, geeky girls in the world. And so he's just a heartthrob for socially awkward women in my age bracket. This would be the point where I send anyone off who is vaguely related to me. If you perhaps birthed me, or my husband, or were somehow, you know, responsible for his raising, because men don't birth. But if you were responsible, if you are a parent, bugger off now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I actually don't think my mother's going to be watching this. She's really busy. Okay, so I think they're gone. Let's get into it. And we go into pokey things. And thank you for commenting on the Ravelry board that you enjoyed seeing it. Someone did. Thank you. I do read the Ravelry boards, and I try to respond quite frequently. I don't think Vicky's hat is as messed up as she says it is. Until I see pictures, I don't believe it, Vicky. It looks perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Also, the key is to use colors you like to start brioching. And do get in on the brioche along, because, you know, aside from the fact that you could win this lovely pattern that I am currently wearing, you can also win this, which is going to be really blown out right now. But it is a gorgeous, sparkly, Simply shawl kit from the wonderful Knitty & Color. And we ship anywhere in the world, so there you have it. I keep these into the stitching portion. I keep my little boxes that the Ada comes in, because they come in handy for keeping it cat-free. And I'm actually probably just going to wrap it in this, because they're redoing their house and I don't know how to frame or anything this. So I'm going to be that lame person. Here's a finished piece of artwork. Now you have to go and pay the money to get it framed. I'm an asshole. Thank you. I finished the... There we go. I finished the Mad for Mod Vespa. All the outlining's done. It's all done. I do have to rinse and heat set it to get this horrible... Gotta stop using the circular ones for anything that has to be framed afterwards, because I hate dealing with the circular thing. I'm totally converted to the Q-snaps, which I never was. As a kid, as a youth, you know, watching my mother, I've converted my mother to Q-snaps too, because she never used Q-snaps either. We always used embroidery hoops, because that's just how we were taught, and we don't variate from our teachings. So, there's the back. It's not that shit hot. I could have done a better job on the back, but whatever. Everything is locked in, and you can't see it from the front, and that is the important part to me. So I finished this, and it's called Mad for Mod. It was from the Cross Stitcher magazine, September 2015 issue, which I actually bought to do one for myself, which is based off of the moon phases, which I love. I'm into the moon and the zodiacs and stuff like that, so you're probably going to see those things come up. It is on 14 count Ada oatmeal, It's the oatmeal colorway because I don't, unless it calls for it, I don't like working on white. I have some white, and I'm actually going to just use it for the Christmas ornaments. Because I'm a dirty person. That's the long and short of it. I don't wash my stuff unless I have to. I've never washed it before, actually. Usually I just heat steam set it, and I'm probably going to try ironing this to see if I can get it out with just a nice little ironing, because I hate washing things. I'm afraid of it. And like Bev, who is my guru currently, she doesn't know it yet. Bev, you're my guru for all things stitchy. She really is. If you don't have her on your Instagram, it's Palette PC, Palet PC. Look at the stuff she's done. It's insane. And she's doing one for Desert Vista Dye Works that is possibly the most insane thing I've ever seen. And it's a portrait of the granddaughter, Casey Jo, of Susan, Desert Vista Dye Works. And it's nuts. It's nuts. It's beautiful, but I mean, the level of insanity that Bev must suffer from, I mean, it makes my knitting insanity look minuscule. But she also grids with pen, which means you have to wash it, and I'm just, oh, that scares me. It scares the crap out of me. I do not want to put pen on there unless I'm cutting it off. I don't want to wash it. I want nothing to do with it. So this is going to be a Christmas gift for my in-laws, and it is basically done. I'm going to iron it probably today after I am done recording. I'm also working on my brother's Grateful Dead quilt. Hold on a sec. I'm going to try not to show you my butt because I am wearing my pajama pants. Did I manage to? I hope I did. I hope you didn't get any underwear shot there. I'm working on my brother's Grateful Dead quilt. It is a combination of all of his Grateful Dead shirts that he has retired because he retires them. He is neurotic, so, and I understand because I'm the same way with band shirts. Like, I have a Cure shirt that I cut up and I sewed it onto a hoodie. And it, like, okay, first of all, the arms disintegrated off of said shirt, so I had to do something. So I bought a black hoodie and I sewed it onto the black hoodie, and then I wore it even more. So now it is completely just like rags. And then I seam ripped it off the hoodie so I could save it. And I just have like a little, it's in a lunchbox. I put it in a little metal lunchbox, right? And it's just disintegrated pieces of the shirt because I love that shirt so much. Someday I will get the same shirt again, but I haven't really found it. And it's my favorite Cure shirt, so. Anyway, side story. I wear them to death. My brother wears them until they start getting a little bit holy, and then if they're his favorites, which are all tie-dye, well, no, not all of them, some of them aren't, but for the most part they're tie-dye. He will put them in a special Rubbermaid. As long as he's been wearing the Grateful Dead shirts, he also launders them himself, so they do not get excessively laundered. They get washed, they do not get dried, they get hung. So there's like a whole mess of things. So he has this Rubbermaid, and I said, I'll make you a t-shirt quilt for your birthday and Christmas, because, like, I mean, it's a big deal. And so he was very gung-ho about it. So he brought me, when they visited me, as many t-shirts as I needed, and I'm making a quilt. So I ordered, let's see, there we go. I ordered this fabric, which is the Steal Your Face Lightning Bolt. If you don't know Grateful Dead, there's that big, here we go. This is upside down. It would help if I had everything right side up, huh? This is a finished row. It's going to be a king size, so it's like gnarly huge. You see that big skelly guy? Yeah, you do. That's called a Steal Your Face. And Steal Your Faces are in pretty much almost everything that Teddy Bears and the Dancing Skeletons aren't. So the Steal Your Face has the lightning bolt logo in it most of the time, and there's usually a red and a blue on either side. And so this I ordered from Spoonflower. It's a rainbow Steal Your Face. And so this one is massive. Oh, it smells like hippies. It smells like hippies. I'm pretty sure all of these lived in head shops for very, very many years before they came into my family. It's probably permeated. And so I had to use fusing on the back to strengthen the shirts because, of course, many of them are severely worn. But so I've got 3 out of 5 rows. I've got 1 row ready to, Yeah, no, I haven't cut this one yet. That's the one I just did. I have 2 that are trimmed and ready, and then I have 2 more rows to sew together. One has to have fusing put on it, and then I'm going to do the Steal Your Face beams in between. Mom is actually... My oldest brother is really hard to buy for, so Mom was like, I will pay for all of the specialty fabric. Because I was just going to go and get tie-dyed shit from, like, Joann's or whatever. And so, Bro picked out his fabrics that he wants for the back and his fabrics that he wanted for the surround. And Mom is paying for it. Because there's no way, like, I mean, the backing that he picked from Spoonflower is going to be, like, over $100 just for the back of the quilt. But he's already decided that this will be handed down through generations, like, to his children and there's children's children. So it's going to be a big deal for a quilt. I'm going to use the invisible thread to do the top half in... I'm going to do the clear invisible on the top and the smoky invisible on the bottom for all my quilting so that it doesn't affect the actual patterns of the shirts, but it needs to have the stability. Needless to say, there are a lot of shirts. It's taken out this whole bed area here. You can actually see them here. Here's some more. So I have to finish the top, order the backing, and it all has to be done before I leave on December 1st. So my knitting is going to be iffy until that quilt is done, just so you know. The other thing I've been working on is the, I told you about last week, the ornaments. So I finished 2. And I don't really mind that I'm using the circle and it's leaving circular marks because I'm going to... The templates that go around them in felt aren't very big, so it will hide that. So I have a gingerbread man, that's for my uncle, it's my godfather, and a little, I'm calling her Red Riding Hood angel. My aunt collects angels, so this is for her, my nurse aunt, who collects angels. It's an anti-angel, and I'm going to do one here and one here. This fabric actually came with the kit, with all of the stuff to do these, so I'm doing it on this first. It's really hardcore, like it's super starched out, which is probably good for making ornaments. Needless, it's really hard to deal with, though. It does bug my wrist, so I'm going to be glad when I'm done this. I have a piece of just plain white Aida. There we go. There's my needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. She's on Etsy. You should use her if you like stitchy things, because she has awesome stuff. There's some Disney stuff, too. I have my needle in my center stitch, which I know is bad because it's going to pop that stitch, but I really don't. I'm going to iron them anyway. Whatever. I break a lot of rules when it comes to stitching because that's just who I am, and I don't know any better. So I got 2 done. I'm gonna try and do my side of the family first. So 4 for each family. So brother, sister-in-law, 2 kids on each side. So that's 8. My mom, and then my aunt and uncle. So my aunt and uncle are done. So I have 9 left, which isn't too bad. They go pretty fast. It only takes me like a night to do one. And he's so cute. It does kind of bug me that they don't do half stitches. So you do see a little bit poking out from underneath the outline, but whatever. That would really bug a nettle, but it does not bug me. Ma. And that's what I finished for pointy things. The only other enhancement I could really show you is that I picked up some patterns. I actually picked them up when the in-laws were in town. The parents, my hubby's parents, my parents by proxy parents, in-laws, whatever you want to call them. When we went to Church Mouse, I picked up this one. It is called the Firefly Wrap. I thought it would be amazing in hand spun. That's why I picked it up. I actually saw it on Ravelry and thought, hey, that is awesome. And here's another one. It's by Coco and it's Liesel, and I also thought that would be really nice, maybe in handspun. And it just looked comfy, and I tend to, throw a tank on and then throw something over top. So that really works for me personally. It's got pockets, I think. Yeah, it has little pockets, which is also cool. So I picked those up. And I had seen the Liesel done out of Spin Cycle yarns. I really love their stuff. It's expensive, but I really love their stuff. They're actually up in Bellingham. Someday I may go to Bellingham just to see their booths and stuff, because they set up at the farmer's market. I had seen that done out of their yarn, and I thought that looked amazing. And as you can tell, I don't really mind if the stripes go the wrong way. I don't. That is everything I really had to say, aside from joining the Yarnivore brioche along. I'm seeing a lot of lovely patterns there. There's a lot of great pattern suggestions in the thread. There's a chatter thread and there's a picture thread. So chatter in the chatter thread, picture in the picture thread, blah, blah, blah. Aside from that, my bra keeps slipping down. It sucks. I know you're supposed to tighten your straps if you have that happen, but the long and short of it is, if I tighten my straps, then every time I raise my arms, my bra flips up, and it's just, I have a weird torso. Weird ass torso. So, now that I'm done the big piece for my in-laws, I'll probably get back to either my sampler or my ravens, which I'm calling crows. Aside from the thingies. I have way too much Christmas crafting going on, and that's probably because, it's a thin year this year. I actually have to get dyeing. Once the quilt's done, I'll have space to be dyeing yarn again, and I'm going to dye up some variegates that I have dyed previously, and what ended up happening was my knit group bought all of them, so they didn't make it to the interwebs. But I'll dye more of those. I was thinking about maybe doing brioche kits where you have a semi-solid and then a variegate, and do a half skein thing and put them together for a brioche hat kit kind of dealy. I don't know yet. Anyone steals my idea, I'll beat you. Just saying. So that's everything I've got going on, really. It's been a week. It's been a week. And next week will be another week. But next week it will be November. And Halloween will be gone, which is my favorite holiday. But it's Halloween every day here, so it doesn't matter. I buy all of my house accoutrements on the 50% off Halloween sale tables. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I get all that fancy Halloween schmancy stuff, and I put it up, and the long and short of it is, it stays up year round. And people are like, oh, your house is very Halloween-y. It's wonderful. For the month of October, everybody thinks I'm awesome. And then come November, December, they're like, it's Christmas. Why do you still have Halloween stuff up? And it's like, because it's superior. Halloween is every day. Okay? Halloween day. So I hope you have wonderful knitting. I hope you haven't died of boredom during this really talky episode. I'm never going to say I'm having a short episode again. So I will see you next week. I hope you have fun. I hope you have a great Halloween. I hope you do wonderful things. And, yeah. Bye.